Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Killingly Public Library's craft video series. Today we will be making a Valentine topiary, and I am going to use a K-cup. Those nasty little things, they just keep coming up, don't they? So I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know many people that are, and they've been saving them for me rather than putting them in the trash. So this is what we're going to use today. If you don't have one, perhaps you have a clay pot, you could use that, or get creative if you have something else, maybe a tin can and spray paint it white. That would work as well. So the next thing I'm using, you probably have around the house as well, and that's cardboard. I cut my cardboard into some heart shapes. I just drew some templates on some scrap paper. They're varying sizes. They go from larger to smaller, and I had 4 different sizes. Now I cut out my cardboard for the largest piece, but maybe you want to use paper for your largest piece and alternate a different way. Maybe you want to do more than one stick for your pot. I'm just doing one for the video, but certainly a bunch would be a lovely assortment in your little pot. But I have a piece of cardboard that I did trace out already. It was, just some scrap cardboard. I traced out a heart. And then I want to take and peel the paper off, so the top layer, so that you have the ridge. So just find it and kind of pull it off. Find the end and just pull it off, and you'll see. So this one, I do have some that kind of stayed behind. I find that if I just take the pencil and put it in there, I can just then peel it up. Some of it won't matter because I am layering this, so it won't matter if some of it is left behind. It's not going to show because there'll be another layer on top of it. I have 2 of these large hearts because I'm going to sandwich my dowel between them. You may also want to layer both sides. I'm just layering one side for the video. And let's see, you want to figure out how tall you would like your stick to stand out of your cup, and that will be the length you would use. So I think we'll go with something like this. Okay. Again, it went flying. Sorry about that. Nobody got their eyes poked out, right? Okay, good. So this seems to me like it will be a good height for my pot. So I will take, I missed a little paper here. I will take the 2 hearts and sandwich them in between the dowel. Or I guess I should say sandwich the dowel in between the 2 pieces of heart. And there we go. So this way it doesn't matter if you're looking from the front or the back, you're not going to see the stick. And then just decide whichever side you want to use. If you're going to cover both sides with more than just the cardboard, then it doesn't really matter, I suppose. My next layer, I wanted to go with a red heart because, well, I was thinking Valentine's Day. So we're just going to glue the red heart on over the variegated cardboard there that we've got. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little glue on my heart. I guess my trace lines don't show, so it doesn't really matter which way I go. see that. And then my next layer, I decided to go with another piece of the cardboard with the top layer peeled off. This one, the cardboard is going kind of at a diagonal. I didn't really care. Maybe that would bother you and you want them all to be going in the same direction. Do whatever works for you. And I'm just going to put a little glue on here and stick that onto the red layer. So we have something like that. And then my last layer is a little piece of patterned paper. It's just red polka dots, but you don't have to use patterned paper if you don't have any. You certainly could even just use different colored cardboards. That would be beautiful too. You don't have to use red paper. It was just the look I thought looked kind of nice. So there you go. There is my heart. And oh yes, and I was going to then take a little piece of the kitchen twine I have here and just tie a bow on the bottom below the heart. And you may need a little glue so your bow doesn't wander for you. That's fine too. And you could also use twine, or you could use ribbon. I didn't really have anything in my office that I thought looked as nice as this kitchen twine does. There, so that's my little heart for my pot. Now let's work on the pot. So I thought it would be nice to just dress up the K-cup a little bit with a piece of ribbon, and I'm just gonna cut that and glue it on. Okay, so I have my ribbon on my little pot, and I have a very tiny little heart that I made out of just plain white paper. I'm going to glue that on to my ribbon. There, just to give the ribbon a little something. I mean, you don't have to do it. You don't even have to put ribbon on your pot. Maybe you want to cover it in paper. Maybe you don't want to cover it at all. Even another thought maybe is to make a bunch of tiny little hearts and glue them all around so it's just white with little hearts. I mean, you can get so creative and do so much with just a little K-cup. And so I wanted to take and weigh it down a little bit. So I have a few of these glass gems that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to throw a few of those in. And then I have some leftover clay here, and I'm going to push that in as well so that it's something for my dowel to stick into. Like so. And then I will put a little hot glue around the hole where the clay and the dowel go together, because as it dries it can shrink a little, but I do want it to keep it secure. And if you don't have clay or Play-Doh around the house, you could certainly use a homemade version of salt dough, a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 parts being the flour, so for instance a 1/4 of a cup, and 1 part being the water and the salt. So if it was a 1/4 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of salt, mix that together and stick it in your pot, and you can see it's holding up quite nice. And now I'm just taking some paper shred that I have, and I'm just attaching that all at the top. You can play around with that a little bit so that it looks neat and not too messy. And it helps hide the clay. You could certainly use some of the that mossy shred stuff that they sell in the craft section with like the foam for vases and that sort of thing. But this was just something I had in my office, so I thought, oh, let's whip this up. And so there we have it. We've got our little Valentine topiary. And you can, put in some more paper shred and do what you like with it. But I just shoved a little bit in there. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Killingly Public Library's craft video series. I would love to see your crafts, so if you would send your photos to info@killinglypl.org, that would just make my day. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time in another one of our videos. Have a great day.